fighting against each other and does not see the well-being of the whole nation, and that you have to collaborate with each other against the neo-colonizers or colonizers. Yeah, but because in the English-speaking part, as they say, you have a different law system and a different language, a different education system. It's better when the Ambazonians become independent and not being treated as a minority all the time by the Francophones, who are 80% of the population. The Francophones, they shall do their own reform in their own country. Yeah. Of course, if you would have a proportional representation of each tribe in whole Cameroon, then it would not matter that much anymore whether the boundary at the Mungo River is an international one or only a confederacy boundary. But because French Cameroon maltreated the Ambazonians for decades, yeah, it's better to support the Ambazonian revolution and to let them become independent, as it was already in the starts, in the 60s. They were almost independent. It was so unfair to ask the Ambazonians only, do you want to become independent by joining Nigeria or by joining Cameroon? That is so unfair, because if you join, you're not independent. Logical. So the third option was missing. The third option is, do you want to be independent by your own? And you have to still complete this decolonization process. The biggest culprit is probably Great Britain, because they don't really help you and they sold you out to France. But on the other hand, if we just continue blame game the whole time, it's not working either. It's all up to you. You have to make up your mind, and you have to stop tribalist infighting. So when Sisiko Tabe now is calling for collaboration, he is totally correct. But on the other hand, of course, you need a representation which is not behind enemy lines. And whatever institutionalization you do abroad in the diaspora is good. I would say support AGOV-C, support the AIG, support ROA, yeah? All Ambazonian compatriots who are truly for Ambazonian independence need to be supported in the diaspora. And the main job of the diaspora is to do the fundraising and to get big-time sponsors on the boat. And that has to be done in secret. It's secret diplomacy. So nobody can just go out in social media and say, oh, I have raised the most funds and I am the chief now. This habit of being the biggest chief of all, that is not good. We are not heading towards a monarchy. We are heading towards a democracy. A good leader is able to step back if another better leader comes along who managed to get more funds for the defense. Of course, defense is absolutely necessary against a regime, a ruthless regime who occupied you illegally and is doing genocide on your people. You need defense. That is common sense. It is totally legal, covered by international norms. But also, of course, it is very difficult to build up a national Ambazonian defense because the enemy tries a lot to bribe certain factions into submission and create infighting. So what you need to focus on is do the fundraising so that Ground Zero gets quality materials, real big quality materials. You need to show the enemy where the hammer hangs. So all tries of the academics to think that the liberation can be done just by diplomacy or by talking is not working. It needs acting, it needs Ground Zero actions. You know, the occupier needs to be kicked out. And you need to show to the world your determination and that you are all on the same page on it. You don't want to have any governing people on your territory from French Cameroon, or from wherever. Only Ambazonians can govern Ambazonia, period. And the thing is, when I say the main thing is about the funding of materials, you should never forget that the Ambazonian soldiers also have to know for what values they are fighting. You need to be better than the enemy. That's a crucial thing. You need to support your population. You cannot just come and say, oh, I am the best party, and now everything has to be in Ambazonia according to my party. No. The only party which really exists is the Ambazonian Liberation, yeah, without any word party. Yeah? It's every fighter who fights for the country Ambazonia, for the liberation of all tribes, all people in Ambazonia. And following a code of conduct which expresses the values, the new values of Ambazonia, and therefore you do good if you read about what a good constitution is. Because at the end of the day, when you ask yourself, negotiations, what are these negotiations about?